that we get to, and that we lose a little bit of that sometimes. I feel like because we're focusing on what the kids need or what the family needs, but it's a mindset of we get to do this. This is such a good reminder to keep that as we get to choose how this looks. Welcome to the Homeschool Perspective, where seasoned homeschooling moms share tips, insights, and resources to empower your homeschool journey. As the U.S. celebrates Independence Day, we thought it was the perfect time to talk about the different ways that homeschooling gives each of us and our families a level of independence that is unique to the homeschool life. So we are going to be sharing some things with you today, just some things that we thought of that are ways that homeschooling brings us some freedoms. So Ally, why don't you start us off? What would you say are some ways that homeschooling can help us as homeschool moms?
I love this because I think we immediately go to all the freedom for kids and families, which I'm so excited we're going to talk about in a minute. And then, of course, we leave moms out because we're always thinking of other people.
Yeah. That's
But
why
I
I wanted
do,
to start with this with you,
yes,
because I
I
knew
love
you were
it.
going to talk about that. And I was like, yeah, we so often focus on the kids. We focus on the
Mhm.
kids, the kids as homeschooling moms. But there are so many benefits that homeschooling brings to us. And so, yeah, that's why I started with you.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Great. We're on the same wavelength. When we talk about independence, homeschooling offers so many different opportunities, but when we're specifically looking at moms, we have the opportunity when we are in the driver's seat of our children's education, which education takes up the majority of a family's hours for 18 years, right?
Mhm.
When we get to be in the driver's seat of that, we get to have I hate the word control in this situation, but we get to lead what our days are looking like.
Yeah.
We get to choose the dinner times and the bed times and the wake up times that serve everybody, which already creates an environment where you can be more connected with your kids, where you can feel like you're resting, where you can start to release some of that rush. And I think just being able to be present with our children and make choices that work for us as well. We're not having to, if you're not a morning person and having to get the kids up at 6 a.m. to get them eating breakfast at 6:30, out the door at 7 a.m. Oh my goodness, it gives me anxiety to even think about. But to know
And
that
you
you can have
are a morning
seasons,
person.
I am
Like,
a morning
and that
person.
gives you anxiety. Like, I'm not a morning person. And that was one of the reasons we chose to homeschool, because I was like, no, like,
You're like, that's not happening.
we will not be doing that actually.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, I have a friend who started homeschool or started with her kiddo in the neighborhood school, and they are not morning people. Like when we're going to see these friends, we don't even plan anything until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't even try. Like it's not, we know they just are not awake in the world until the
Mhm.
afternoon. And they had gotten to this really yucky place in their relationship
Mm.
with each other and as a family because it was not their time of day, not mom's time of day, not the daughter's time of day. And they were exhausted and they were overwhelmed. They were trying to force things into this box that was given to them. And their relationship was deteriorating to nothing. It was awful. And her daughter was still really young. She was still little, but it was just this really contentious thing. And, as much as we talk about our kids' childhood, it's also our motherhood.
Yeah.
We get to enjoy our motherhood. And I think that homeschooling gives you the opportunity, the benefit, the independence to choose what that looks like and to get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You get to, if you want to have slow, cozy mornings with your kids, you can choose that. You can choose that. If you're somebody who likes to hit the ground running, you're going to go for a run first thing in the morning with your kids, you get to do that. You get
Right.
to really, I feel like it gives you the independence to have the space and time to enjoy your motherhood. And I think that's something that we all deserve and we should talk about more. So I think that is one of the most beautiful aspects of the independence that homeschooling gives moms.
I
I
love
love that
that.
so much.
Lisa, do you have anything to add to that for moms?
I think it's true. We had that season where we had a child in public school, and
Yeah.
it definitely put me on a different rhythm. And I felt very restricted and restrained. And
Mhm.
so I appreciated more after that freedom that we experience. And I love how you said we get to. I think that's
Yeah.
really the gift that we have is we get to, as moms, make these decisions.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
do you feel like you forget about that being our choice and our like that we get to and that we lose a little bit of that sometimes. I feel like because we're focusing on what the kids need or what the family
Mhm.
needs, but it's a mindset of we
Mhm.
get to do this. And I feel like sometimes we lose it a little bit. And this such a good reminder to keep that as we get to choose how this looks. Like you might have regulations and you may have things that you have to do and have to present in a certain way, but overall you get to do this, you know.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. It's honestly, it's part of the deschooling process too. If you are
Mm.
feeling that get to is not there, probably a good sign that you need to kind of step back and make some adjustments so that you can really embrace all of the get to that comes with the independence of homeschooling.
Yeah, and summer is a great time to do
The
that.
sweet
I
spot.
mean,
Yes.
summer is because you can start to deschool yourself, you can start to deschool your kids and start to really plan for the upcoming year of how you're going to do this differently. Even if you homeschool in the summer, it can be different. You can start this right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. Lisa, why don't you talk a little bit about the family and the family culture and the freedoms and independence that we have that homeschooling brings when that homeschooling brings to your family.
There are there are so many ways. My first thought jumped to the fact that even with 8 kids, no two learn the same way, and we get
Mhm.
to educate each of them individually.
Yeah.
And as a family, we also get to come together and work with that and celebrate that and let it give us a different experience, right? Like we get to do it together. But I also like to think about those times when my husband was working 2 jobs or 3 jobs and he was coming home in the afternoon to go to sleep so he could get up and
Right.
work all night long. Or he would get off from work at 7 a.m. and sleep all day and then wake up in the afternoon. And then there were seasons where the only time he was awake and available was 8, 9, 10 in the morning.
Mhm.
And no matter what season of life it was for his work schedule, as a family, we could prioritize that time together and shift our school time. We didn't sacrifice their education at all. In fact, there were some of our most successful, adventurous homeschooling times because we got really
Yeah.
creative, but we got to make sure that family was at the core of it. And, also as a family, we've been able to travel. And I got to tell you, it is so much nicer to travel off season, like
Oh
when,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
when all the people are not there, right?
We don't even
Um,
travel when it's not off season. It's like, no, that's our home time.
yeah,
Yeah.
like this is it, right? And so we get to travel, we get to do experiences. The kids get to volunteer, they get to explore things. That just interest them, and we're like, okay, hey, let's, as a family, let's go check this out, let's go do this together. And so we get to bond and we get to know each other and we get to accommodate each other in a way that we wouldn't if we weren't homeschoolers, and I'm so incredibly thankful for that. And the other thing I'll add is, we have a mix of homegrown and handpicked kiddos. And when we did our international adoption, we just got to pick up and take the whole family overseas for an
Yeah.
amazing experience together. And homeschooling was kind of just part of it. And we couldn't have done that because we were 6 weeks out of the country at the time. And we did it twice in one year. And we could just do that. Again, that
Yeah.
that beautiful gift of freedom, and it's time freedom and it's choice freedom, and it's
Yeah.
it's absolutely amazing. I'm so thankful that we homeschool.
Yeah, that's the same like what you were talking about the schedule. I mean, that's the main reason that we did start homeschooling was because we needed a flexible schedule. I needed my kids to be able to go to bed late because that's when their dad was home, and we wanted to
Mhm.
prioritize the family in that way. And so that's was like the final like the nail in the coffin that we were going to homeschool was like yes we need to because of the freedom of flexibility for schedules so that we could have a good family, a good, healthy, functioning family, that sees their dad, when he's available, and we can shift things around and we can have that fun family time together. Allie, do you have anything, to add to that, what Lisa was talking about family
Just
culture?
that my husband loves it too, because he gets to be so much more involved and engaged in so many more aspects of our kids' lives. We send him throughout the day. We send him what the kids are working on. When they have a light bulb moment and he's at work, we can call and share that together. When we get to the day when he has a day off, or he has something come up, he gets to be fully enveloped in the family, and it's not like he's coming in on our schedule. It's we get to be together. It's I feel like when families are in more institutional settings, there's something already laid forth, like this is the schedule, this is the routine, this is what's happening, and then anything around it just has to kind of force its way in or fit. But in homeschooling, we are so integrated as a family, and we get to adjust and move and bring dad in along the way all the time. And I know he loves being able to be a part of that and share. And there's been more than one time where he's been at work and he's like, everybody, look, Charlie did this, and like
Aw.
his work friends get in on it. So that getting to celebrate those moments together, getting to really witness each other grow, witness the kids growing, dad getting to be there, everybody. I mean, it's so incredibly beautiful. It's such a
Right.
gift.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also love the adventures and the things that you get to do when you homeschool. Like when you go and you take not just vacations, but vacations are certainly a big part of it at the off seasons and stuff. Like you can go and do those things at any time, and you can take a day and go on an adventure. Like if your husband has the day off work for some reason, or it's, just for whatever reason, you can switch it up and go and do what you want, and just really keep that family time so special. I love that. And also, what we were talking about in a previous episode when we were talking about dads, just having the school day be not really existent, and schooling happens all the time, and like dads get to read to the kids before bed, and that's just such a good part, like a part of homeschooling that is unique to what we get to do, and to have that freedom and the flexibility to do the read aloud time right before bed with dad. I love that. So
That's
the
awesome.
kids too, obviously, like I saved this one for last because, you know, we think when we start homeschooling, I feel like we do it for the kids. That's our primary focus because it is their education. And I think that's probably what most people think about first is like, well, is this best for the kids? Is this best for them? Are they going to learn? Can I teach them? But our kids, we've already talked about all of the ways that the family gets all of this freedom and independence, and we do as the homeschool moms too. And the kids, we might start there, but all of those are benefits too. So I love that our kids can just really be flexible in what they learn, flexible in how they learn, when they learn, what they learn, where they learn. I mean, do you guys have kids that um, are any of your kids, I'm curious, butts in seats type persons?
Mhm.
Some of them?
One of my
My
graduates
daughter.
is.
One of your graduates
Okay.
is? Okay.
My daughter, when she wants to get school done like quick,
Yeah.
she will go and sit in a seat and do it. But she would much rather go on the swing or the trampoline or be
Yeah.
laying on the floor.
Like, where else do you get that but
Mhm.
homeschool? I have the funniest picture of one of my kids standing, like squatting really on an end table on our patio, doing his math upside down
I love it.
in his Christmas pajamas, and I think it was like in the summer. So I mean, how many odd things can you find in this picture? If we weren't even doing school and he was like doing math, I guess for fun. I don't know what he was doing, but it was like outside standing on a table, squatting on a table. His math book was upside down. Like all like what? What? But with our kids, sometimes we learn best that way. We've done school upside down, laying down on the couch, in the car, at an appointment, on vacation. I mean, learning can happen anywhere where it's best for our kids, where it works for our schedule. The kids have such a unique ability to really learn, even if we don't put it as something that we're covering, like we put it on our lesson plans. They have all of this free time, right? That they can go and explore their interests, and they can develop new interests. Yesterday, my son said, this summer, I want to try all the sports so I know which one I want to play. Like that's his goal for the summer, is to find a sport that he loves. And he's not my athletic kid, so I love it that he's like, this is my goal. But they have so much free time year round to do that, to develop new interests, to try new things, to find. And we, as their moms and their guides in this, can find those best ways for them to learn, the best situations for them. And I really just feel like the kids benefit so much by having their education tailored to them. Like you can make, and with all of the things the opportunities and things that we have now for homeschooling to really help each individual child, how they learn best and in what way and where, like would they do better with a tutor, or would they do better, on an online platform, like in an online class, or how does this work best for them? Let's do it. It's such a gift that we are giving our kids, to have that personalized education for them in the best way that we can. Obviously, you can't utilize every resource that you would want to utilize. Like that would be overwhelming,
Exhausting.
and
Yeah.
overwhelming and very expensive. But like we can tailor it, and we can work and do what's best for our kids, and our kids really benefit from that. And I know that I have adult friends who were homeschooled K through 12, and they have continued these things. Like I can almost spot out an adult that was homeschooled now by just what they're involved in. Like we've got this one friend that does, he's a musician, and he played in a band. He does incredible woodworking. He is, he has a full-time job and with none of those things. And, like he has all of these interests and passions, and he continues in his 30s to pursue those things. And same thing with like my brother-in-law was homeschooled K through 12, like has all of these passions, all of these things that he wants to continue to do and explore. And I don't know. I think it's really cool to see that adult evidence too of kids that were afforded the freedom to explore their passions and to learn new things, to be given opportunities. Like they talk about spreading the feast, or what's the unschooling equivalent of spreading the feast? Like it's the same thing, strewing, right?
Strewing. I was like, there is a word.
Yeah,
What is it?
yeah, it's like basically the same thing. I think that's so funny. But anyway, like putting things in their way to explore and to latch onto, maybe taking the summer to explore, like what sport do I want to do? I'm going to try them all. I love it. It's so cool. Do you guys have anything to add of like the benefits and the that it gives to kids?
That is so cool. And it's the rabbit holes, right?
Yeah.
It's like chasing the rabbit trails, chasing those rabbit trails, letting them go deep, like having the freedom to do that. I love that he's trying all the sports. I think that's fabulous. My daughter, who loves Greek mythology and international folk tales, like that's her jam.
So cool.
She's like, that's her thing. So she's decided her next goal in life is to shoot an arrow off of horseback, like while riding horses.
Okay.
That's her.
That's
and I'm
awesome.
Like, I could, if I had written her life out and I could have never come up with the idea of doing that. And did you know there's actually like a national society of people who do this? Like it's a thing.
Okay.
No way.
So I like the freedom to, be exposed to so many things and then actually dive down these paths. I think the reason they have such cool hobbies and keep them as adults is because like, who is getting exposed to that?
Right.
Nobody. Like, you had like homeschoolers have the freedom to go down these paths and discover things that like are just not in the realm for so many people. It's so fun. It's just so fun.
Yep. So take a minute today to just think about the different ways that you have as a homeschooling parent and a homeschooling family, the freedoms and independence that you have for yourself and for your whole family, and also, of course, for our kids. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe and leave us a review so that we can keep this independent material coming your way. And we will see you guys again next time on the Homeschool Perspective.